it's an inside job. We're not sitting here saying this is going to fix all your problems by any means.
No, and it's not a way to avoid the problems, but it is a way to look at things from a different perspective that can be more empowering than just sitting in that trap of no change.
Yeah, you nailed it with
and
that.
just of blaming. Like, yeah, we can, it's just like we talk about with relationships with an addict or an alcoholic, okay? A lot of the problems you can blame on the addict or alcoholic, right? Yeah. But you can't sit there and just blame them for everything and expect them to change for your life to change. You have to change. You have to heal.
Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
Does it feel really, really heavy to anybody else or just us? It feels like mental health is crumbling, and I don't think that you're crazy for feeling it. It's maybe partly social media driven, maybe partly political driven, maybe it's financial. It's overstimulation. It can be toxic relationship dynamics that maybe you weren't aware of until just recently, but the pressure is real. You are not the only one feeling this. We are feeling this. Other listeners are feeling this. I think this is something that a lot of people are feeling right now. And there's not a whole lot that we can do as far as influencing the outside world to cure what ails us. But there is a lot that we can do internally to help this. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Tools, tricks, things that we've used, things we've read about that can help you find peace when the world feels absolutely chaotic. We're going to unpack why things feel so hard right now, how blaming in the outside world actually can become a trap that will keep you stuck inevitably, what we can actually do about this stuff to reclaim your mental, emotional, and even your physical health. So whether you're in a tough relationship right now, you're just feeling powerless, or you're just worn the hell out.
This is really for anybody.
Yeah, this one's for you.
That might be struggling right now. Even if you're in a healthy relationship, there could be something that's externally happening that might be impacting your mental health. And that's what we're going to talk about too.
Part of it could also just be the fact that it's the month of May right now.
Maycember.
Yeah.
For us.
Schools love to jam everything in those last couple of weeks, and it just feels overwhelming. Absolutely overwhelming. So we're going to talk about it today. Hey, thanks to today's sponsor, SoberLink. SoberLink's been an amazing sponsor of our show now for about a year, and they've been incredible. We absolutely love working with SoberLink, and we believe in the product that they offer. If you don't know what SoberLink is, it serves really two purposes. First of all, what is it? It's a breathalyzer, but it's much more than that. If you're someone like me, something I hear all the time is, this time is going to be different. I'm going to stop drinking this time, and it's going to be different this time. What I would ask you is, what's going to be different this time? Here's what I would suggest. SoberLink can be an amazing tool to prove accountability. If you're serious about this, and you're really serious about this, SoberLink can be a path to giving other people the assurance that you're really serious this time. You can set up contacts. It can be your wife or husband or your friends or a sponsor or a therapist, whoever, and it lets them know that you're doing the deal. They get alerts every time you use the device, and it tells them that you're sober or if you're not. So there's a layer of accountability built in there that lets people know you've got skin in the game and you're really serious about it this time. It can be an incredible tool to help rebuild accountability. Now, accountability isn't just about not drinking, and that's what our show's about, but it can be a bridge to help get you there, to take that conversation off the table so people no longer have to police you or ask and argue about, hey, you said you would use it anytime I asked, and it's gone. The conversation's gone. SoberLink takes care of it. They get to be the bad guy. It's wonderful. They don't mind being the bad guy. They're great at being the bad guy. They love it. And really, they're not a bad guy. They're not out to prove this or that or get anyone in trouble. They're just concerned with providing data. That's all they do, provide great data. They've got a standby team 24/7 to review the data, to make sure that it's accurate, that it's real. And if something looks off, they will ask you to retest, which is really, really cool. It's an awesome thing. It's got military-grade facial recognition technology so that you can trust the person using the device is the person that's supposed to be using the device, so there's no way to get around it. It is tamper-proof. You cannot screw with this thing without it being alerting SoberLink to let them know that something's gone wrong with this device. And it can also be used in situations where you're in a custody battle. If you're in that position and you want to make sure your kids are going somewhere safe, get this written to your agreement. Judges are very familiar with it. The court systems are very familiar with it. It is trusted by over 200,000 people. It is court admissible in all 50 states and even in Canada. They're very familiar with this. So if you want to make sure that your children are going somewhere where you know that there's going to be a safe and sober adult around, make sure that you contact SoberLink, get a device. They have been incredibly generous and given our listeners 50% off a device. All you have to do is go to the website soberlink.com/wheels. Again, that's soberlink.com/wheels. Enter in your email address and you will get a coupon for 50% off a device. Incredibly useful in times like this. Again, it's soberlink.com/wheels. And thank you so much to SoberLink. Support the companies that support our show. All right, let's get it started, Paigey.
Okay, so let's talk about what people might be struggling with that could be happening in the outside world. Like I'm seeing a lot of things on social media where people are, blaming politics, or they're blaming their finances, or their issues within finances right now. Just blaming so much in the system. They're blaming the system as well of like all of their problems, which, let's be real, there's a lot of problems out there that a lot of people, like, I can completely hold space for you and understand why you might be struggling. But I want to discuss how to take the next step and what we've done and what we've figured out on how to, not let these external factors actually impact our mental health as much as I see, in society right now. Yeah,
you've hit on something important there. It is important to recognize what is going on that's causing you distress. But if you just stay there and say, now I've identified it. If it's something that's in so many ways outside of your control, then what can you do about it?
Exactly.
And oftentimes it feels helpless because it could be at like a systematic level. It could be like government. It could be like politics. It's a big divisive factor right now for a lot of people.
Right.
Basically half the country feels, and the other half feels, hey, we're in a great place. But that's half the people. That's a lot of freaking people that are going through this right now. Mm-hmm. We're not political here to say who's wrong or who's right. All we're saying is that there's a lot of people who are struggling, and you're not wrong for struggling. You're not wrong for feeling scared or unsure, like the ground is shaking beneath your feet and you don't know what's coming next. That's a very real feeling.
Yeah.
Economics as well. It's tough out there right now.
Yes,
it is. A lot of people are feeling the crunch. I mean, we've had inflation over the last 5 years since COVID, and it's not really subsiding like we thought it would. We've got this new tariff thing going on, and it's scaring the hell out of everyone. People are losing their jobs left and right. This is real stuff. We're not here to gaslight you and tell you it's not actually as bad as you think. What we are here to tell you is that sometimes these things are going to be outside of your direct control.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's helpless, because there are some things you can do internally to influence your life.
Right. Yeah. And I also think that a lot of people get into this trap of thinking that things are going to go back to normal. So you'll be stuck in
What's
this
normal?
Exactly. I was always taught, normal is a setting on a dryer or whatever. Normal isn't really like it's not real. I mean, let's be real. It's not real. And nothing will ever go back to the way that it was. I mean, we had posted something on our story recently. I think I posted it, of saying that, like, if you're not embarrassed by the person that you were a year ago, then you're not working hard enough, or you're not growing, or you're not shifting. So it's kind of like that. Like it's not always going to go back to normal. So we try to deal with what we have at hand and how we can move through it. And it's not like dismissing it or avoiding it, but it's like, how do we cope with this? How do we manage this? How do we get through it? And from what I see is that, like, there's a lot of anxiety out there right now. I see a lot of people that are super anxious. There's some depression. There's just a lot of mental health things going on. Sorry, Matt just stole my smell good pen.
It's got like, what is this in here?
Essential oils. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got at Target.
It's calming.
Well, there's calming, there's joy, there's focus, there's energy, and there's something else, I think.
Not a sponsor of the show, but
no, but
cool.
It'd be cool if it was.
Yeah, we should hit them up.
I actually got my mom and grandma one for Mother's Day because I thought it was really cool.
The idea of normal kind of trips me out. In my lifetime anyway, there have been really two events that changed the landscape of life in general. And I think the first one was 9/11. Mm-hmm. 9/11 really changed the way that life looked for pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
It brought to light so many things we'd never considered, and our lives actually changed because of it. I think another one was COVID and everything that surrounds COVID, and that includes the political environment and everything else. I'm not just talking about the actual virus, but
right.
Those two things were like turning points. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that we ever go back to the way that things were before.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Right.
It sucks. Like, and you can mourn that. And I think that's totally fair and valid to mourn a life that was much easier in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. But the problem is that people will become trapped in thinking that things will get back to normal. And they'll just say, oh, I'm just going to wait until things get back to the way they were. I'm just going to tough it out until, things change. When in reality, you have more power within yourself to change than actually waiting on things to get back to normal.
Yeah. Think about how many external events would have to occur in just the right order and just the right doses and
everything.
timing in order for that to take place. It's unlikely.
Like, all generations go through shit like this, go through shifts and stuff. And I think it's a big life lesson for all of us of what little is out of our control, but then also trying to shift our perspective into what we can have control over so that we can be more content and have peace and like get through all the tough shit and be more resilient.
Yeah. When it feels like the system has got you kind of in the tumble dry, just wrecking you.
Yeah.
Take faith, take solace in the fact that you've got more power than you think to control the way that you feel and the way that you perceive the world. It's an inside job. We're not sitting here saying this is going to fix all your problems by any means.
No, and it's not a way to avoid the problems, but it is a way to look at things from a different perspective that can be more empowering than just sitting in that trap of no change.
Yeah, you nailed it with
and
that.
Just of blaming. Like, yeah, we can, it's just like we talk about with relationships with an addict or an alcoholic. Okay. A lot of the problems you can blame on the addict or alcoholic, right? Yeah. But you can't sit there and just blame them for everything and expect them to change for your life to change. You have to change. You have to heal. You have to figure out that you do have more power within that situation than just waiting around for somebody else to change whatever you want them to do.
Yeah. It's really, really tough to take or to have the kind of agency required to make changes in your life like this. I think that growing up, there's someone taking care of us, like a maternal figure or someone around, right, to take care of us. And then the schools do it for a long time. Then you get into the corporate world and those companies, you kind of rely on them to look after you a little bit. But it really is kind of a dog-eat-dog world if you really get down to it. And so much is out of our control. And whenever things aren't going in your favor, it's easy to feel helpless. Like, oh, shit, man, like this is just horrible. There's nothing I can do. Yeah. And sometimes you can't, but the way that you perceive it, you said, can bring a sense of empowerment that makes it feel like you have a lot more control than you actually do. And it can make a massive difference in your perception.
Right. Yeah. So let's say that like right now, we know that a lot of people are struggling with finances and stuff, and they really need help and they're asking for help and they want help, but they can't afford help. So you think, okay, therapy is too expensive. So you sit in that and you're like, all right, I'm just going to have to deal with this and not go to therapy and just kind of like wait around until I can afford it. Well, you have a little bit more power than that. You don't have to go to therapy in order to get help. There's plenty of free resources out there to help you. I mean, it's even just taking care of yourself. It's reading self-help books. It's getting active. It's talking to a friend. It's joining a support group. It's going and doing things that are out of your comfort zone to help build yourself up, to make the decisions that you want within your life. So to say that therapy is too expensive and not doing anything about it is just sitting in that trap and blaming something instead of taking action and doing the things that you do have control over.
Yeah, this is kind of back to the high agency episode we did, covering George Mack's essay about high agency, which if you haven't read it by now, please go read it, highagency.com. And he asked the question, like, what would I do if I had 10 times the agency? So let's say that therapy is out of your budget right now, which it is for a lot of people. Yeah. It's not cheap. Right. It is not cheap. Even without insurance, you're looking at probably, it's over $100 a session. Right. So if you're thinking about doing it weekly, it's like $400 a month. And for a lot of people's budget, it's just not doable. Right. You just cannot swing that. Right. With insurance, it's not nothing, Insurance is freaking expensive. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right. But you can sit there and complain about it too.
Right. We can accept the fact that this is true.
Right.
But we don't have to accept the fact that we don't have alternatives or other options to get us somewhere. Something. Right. And so like I said, is reading a book a replacement for professional therapy? I'm not sitting here saying that, but what I am sitting here saying is that you can learn something from books, support groups, podcasts, you name it.
There are a lot of resources out there.
And make ground.
Yes,
You can make
you can
ground.
start
You can
making
make progress.
changes. You can start making progress. Yeah. But also to sit in there and just like maybe complain that, oh, mental health should be free. Mental health resources should be free.
So should food and water.
So should food and water and
Yeah,
shelter. If
I
you're
don't
going to talk
disagree.
about necessities, like nothing in life is free. I mean, like AA isn't free. Al-Anon isn't free. Like you go and you still pay. Like you're still going to pay for the coffee or you're paying for something there. Books aren't free. These things are not free. So to sit there and just say like, oh, all of it just should be free. So I'm just going to sit in it. I don't, just being pissed off about it is not going to get you anywhere because there's nothing that there's nothing you can do about that. What you can do is, like I said, and like you said, read books, go to, listen to podcasts, talk to people, join support groups, just work on yourself in different ways and figure out what's going to work for you.
Yeah, this isn't some kind of promotion of our podcast, but I've learned so much from podcasts and different creators out there, podcasters that have taught me more about myself and life and just listening to them and being introspective than I learned in therapy. You hear some incredible stories from people and you explore these different books or articles that you never knew existed and they really change your mindset. You can hop on Reddit. There's thousands of communities within Reddit over any topic you want to cover, mental health just being one of them, but there are relationships, there's, you name it, right? We can even talk, we'll get into it a little bit, but down spiritual paths and whether that's like a true spiritual path on your own or whether that's religion, whatever scripture you'd like to follow, there is help and there is a way to progress.
There's ways. There are ways. If you're so tired of your own shit, there are ways to figure out what you need. We offer community calls within our community too.
Yeah, those are free.
And those are free.
Yeah. You can get a free Zoom account, hop on one of those things. And like we've always prided ourselves on being able to offer free resources for people. Like we did build a course that it does cost money. We built it with a licensed therapist. A lot of time and effort went into it. And we still consider updating that thing and whatnot and reserve the right to do that over time. But we have free resources as well. Like we've got hours and hours of podcasts. Oftentimes people will like email us and like, hey, do you have any free resources? Like, yeah, like 200 hours of conversations that are out there that are helpful. They will help you in some way. I'm not saying they're going to attack your immediate need right now, whatever it is you need. But if you listen, you will get help.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So another thing that I see people getting stuck in is complaining about politics or complaining about how the government is corrupt or, media is corrupt. And like, okay, sure. That's probably
all those things are true, by the way.
It's like accurate. Okay. But and then it goes with the question that I like to ask everybody is like, well, what are you going to do about it? Because you can't do anything about that shit. Like you can sit there and complain about it over and over and over again, but there's not much that you can do. What can you do within your own home, in your own circle, within yourself to get you out of that like complain path, like where you're constantly just complaining and raging and just pissed off at how the world is going? It's like, okay, well, how's that going to work out for you? It's not. You've got to do something else so that you're not pissed off all the time over something that you really don't have much control over.
Yeah, like you could take the activist route, certainly. I'm not saying that that's not valid by any means, like getting out there and letting your voice be heard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you have options to do that. There are events every week being organized on one side or the other where you feel like you can be heard talking to other people. But like I know someone like this who obsesses over the political climate right now and has had a really difficult couple of years and is probably the most unhappy person that I know.
Right. Because you get just so sucked into it.
And so much of it is outside of your control and there's people doing crazy things and you want others to take notice of this. And so you spend all your time and energy, beefing with these people on like, what's the Instagram version of Twitter? Threads. I see it on there a lot. Yeah. Threads, going back and forth with people, and it's like arguing, and it's just so much dissent.
Do you go on Threads a lot?
Discourse. Yeah, I'm on Threads.
I never go on Threads.
I like it.
I think our stuff posts on there, but I don't ever go on there
because it's tied to Instagram.
Yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, I'll be damned. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Well, okay. I don't know. I think I've posted an article there before, but no. But there, I know people that will do this, and I'm not saying like just lay down and let. That's
not what I'm saying either. There's obviously a gray area here, but
yes,
but I do have a big thing within myself where I'm like, if it's not fully affecting me in that moment, I'm not going to give it too much power or energy to consume me and my emotions and who what I'm doing, because I have control over that piece of it.
Yeah. And the way
Like,
it affects
yeah.
the kids and everything else.
Yeah. And like, I can say that, yeah, this sucks, but then I'm like, all right, well, then what can I do about it? And then you just go on from there and figure out what you can do about it.
Yeah. The high agency question once again. What would I do if I had 10 times the agency?
Yeah. This is basically like a spinoff of the high agency episode. Like, I felt like we could do so many different episodes on that topic and just like break it apart because it was so good. It's really good. And like what we do here, it's more growth oriented instead of just sitting in your shit.
Yes.
Okay, so another one would be like that I see a lot of people get stuck in is like, I had a hard childhood. You know, you see that within
all the time.
Within the addiction world, of course, like, oh, I had a hard childhood. This is just who I am. Things are tough. My life sucks. I don't know how to cope. I don't know how to deal. Well, yeah, that's probably accurate. All of that's true. But you know that you can correct that. You can move on from that. You can learn how to cope and deal and manage that. What's out of your control is that you did have a hard childhood. It is valid, but what can you do about it now? What can you move on through?
Yeah, two things can be true at once. One is that you did have a very difficult childhood. You had a lot of traumatic things happen to you that you did not deserve.
Yeah.
And it has affected the way that you present as an adult. That's true. What's also true is that you have the responsibility as an adult to do something about that.
Yeah. Rather
than just saying, this is the way I am, end of story, this is the way I am, and what can I do to build from this? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like that. That's that exponential, beautiful thought that we can have at some point when we decide enough is enough. I've got to change this. I've got to do something about this. We do have the power to change. We do. I believe in the human power to change, and I will never not, because I've seen it in so many people. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it in your life. And you're right. You can go through some rather difficult things, but if you just end it there and use that as the excuse for everything that you do, that is a victimhood.
Yeah, it is.
And that's a choice.
Right. And you don't want to stay there too long at all.
No, you can be a victim without being living in victimhood. Yeah. There's a massive difference.
Yeah. So another one that I see a lot, and this one's really difficult to manage, is I can't leave because of my kids or because of money or because of the way, life is right now. And that's valid. You may not be able to do that now, but there are steps that you can take to make sure you will be okay if shit hits the fan one day. You can start, putting aside some money. You can start looking at different options. You do have things under your control that you can shift and move. But if you just stay in that mentality, you're not going to change, and it's going to get worse and worse because it's progressive. The relationship could get worse and worse. So if you're not prepared for when it's really, really bad, you need to at least start being prepared now.
Can we talk about this for just a second? Because I was going to talk about some solutions later, but I think this is probably perfect timing for one of them.
All right, let's go for it.
This is an emergency tactic that you can use. This is like in your emergency first aid kit for your mental health. If you were in a situation that you can't just up and uproot your kids or yourself, that you don't have the means to do that. You don't have anywhere to go. Maybe you don't have the support system. There's a million valid reasons why people don't just up and leave an abusive situation. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to say that you just need to try harder. It's not true. What you can do, I'm here to help you. What you can do to find some peace in this is going to sound terrible, but this is how I found a lot of peace in it, is if you remove the expectations from the situation. I'll give you an example because that sounds kind of crazy. Let's say that you are with someone who, for the entirety of your relationship, has had a problem with drinking or drugs, and they're invalidating, maybe they're emotionally abusive or anything like that. For me, I've been in this situation where most of the pain that I felt came from my expectations about what that person should be versus what they are. And any time that they didn't meet the expectation that I had placed, which is oftentimes a very realistic expectation. Treat me with respect. Talk to me with respect. Mm-hmm. Don't put your hands on me. Things like that. We get hurt. Like, this is the Stoic principle that oftentimes pain comes from our expectations of the world rather than the actual world. Mm-hmm. It's our expectations of the way that things should be happening to us. Right. Should or shouldn't. Right. Let's just say that you've got someone who's not supportive around the house. Like, they don't ever help you with household labor duties like laundry or dishes or taking care of the kids or anything like that. Your pain is generally coming at some point from the fact that you expect them to be doing otherwise. Mm-hmm. If you can accept the fact that they are what they are, and that is what it is, and you have to find a way to navigate through that, it doesn't fix the problem, but it feels easier to manage. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is a way to sort of gaslight yourself into finding acceptance. And that's why I said it's an emergency tool. This isn't a long-term solution for much of anything.
No.
But like, I've worked in a toxic work environment, and most of my anger and frustration and pain came from the fact that I was showing up every day expecting things to be different, and they weren't different. I found peace when I came to accept things exactly as they were.
Reality.
And I came to accept that I would show up and it would be hell. And I would show up and there would be that difficult person. And I would show up and it would be impossible to get things done. And when those things happened and I expected them to happen and I accepted that that's the way they were, I no longer got frustrated with the way that things were, because they just are. I'm actually choosing to come in here. I have power in that. And I'm making the choice to do it, knowing all of this stuff, because I decided that's what's best for me in this moment. And you get power back. It's empowering in some way. Mm-hmm. Now, it won't fix the fact that you're not getting help. It won't fix the fact that someone's not being supportive, but it will fix the pain you feel that we layer on when we're expecting others to act differently. This is an emergency tool that you can use if you're in a situation where, listen, I'm trying to get out of this marriage or this relationship or whatever it is, and I just can't do it right now. In the meantime, you're still going to feel a great deal of pain because you're still not going to be getting help around the house. You're still going to be talked to like crap. They're still going to be showing up drunk and ignoring your needs. Don't expect them to meet any of those things. Pretend today, like say to yourself, they are not going to help me with dishes today. It's going to be on me. They are not going to treat me nicely whenever they start drinking. They are going to disappear and go play pool with their buddies or whatever. That's what's going to happen tonight. Mm-hmm. When those things happen, you won't be upset or shocked or surprised because that's what you expected. It's a game we play with ourselves to get through the worst of our moments. It's not a long-term solution though. Okay. Because I tried this for a very long time.
I was going to say, thank you for that, because a lot of people will stop there and they'll think, okay, well then I just have to accept it. Or some people will say, well, I'm not accepting that. That's still bullshit. I'm still going to tell them what, I feel or what I need and how they're really harming me, which we've discussed multiple times. You cannot talk to people like that, that are not willing to hear you, because they're not going to hear you anyway. So it gets to a point where you're just like, acceptance doesn't mean that you are, like tolerating it. It doesn't mean that that's just what the life is. It's just part of the detaching process in a way of like, I have to accept this person for who they are until I am able to actually make the changes that I need.
Yeah. This is,
people go too far with it though.
You can. I went too far with this for a very long time. I literally have acceptance as the answer tattooed across my rib cage. I lived in this for a very long time, and you can find a lot of peace in most situations. But the worst of the situations in your life, you're generally going to have to make a change, a physical change, in order to find peace. Because you can keep playing this game all day long where you reframe your expectations of the world. But at some point, the labor of doing that will eat you alive. Mm-hmm. It took a long time though. Like I was survived in this for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
But it all came from in the back. So I was introduced to AA when I was in treatment. In the back of the book, there's this story called Acceptance Was the Answer. Mm-hmm. And the tattoo came from this statement. It says, acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I'm disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me, and I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be in this moment. This is the idea of radical acceptance. Mm-hmm. And this is what Stoics teach as well. My experience with this though, and maybe someone has different experience, I'm open to hearing it, is that this is only good up to a certain point in certain situations. But this can I'm thinking about, like, let's think about politics, for instance.
Exactly. That's where I was going to go.
This is wholly applicable in that situation.
Absolutely.
And I think that you could find a way to be happy in this.
I think when it's issues that aren't directly impacting you, like on a personal
or your
basis,
safety. Yeah.
Like you're not being abused within your home.
Right.
This is where the acceptance piece is amazing when it comes to like the politics, people's opinions of you, social media, just all the shit that we deal with. This is where acceptance
the stuff that the news
so
reports and doesn't report.
Yeah. All of that too. It's like, okay, that it is what it is. What can I control in that situation? But when it does come to your most intimate relationships, there is a line here. There is something there. Acceptance is just part of it, but you still need to take action. Yeah.
It's not concentrating as much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and in my attitudes. That comes directly from that story I just read. But that's a tool that you can use. I'm just saying that there are so many people that are struggling. Like, yeah, people just keep telling me, just leave. Like, those are the comments I get. Just leave, get divorced. Like, it's not an option for me. I can't do that right now. Like that's a process that maybe takes time for people.
Yes.
For some people, they've got any number of valid reasons why that's not going to be an option. And that's okay. So how can those people find happiness? I'm not going to sit here and tell them too bad.
No.
Just take my advice. Like, no, like there are ways that we can get around this. There
Right.
are ways. Now,
Right.
disclaimer on that though, is that it doesn't work forever.
No,
and
it
if
does
you're
not.
in danger, it's not going to fix that.
No.
This is just retraining your brain to rid yourself of expectations of others and the world, and accept the ones that you are being given. That's all it really is.
Right.
Like
It's just understanding that you can't really change others.
If you can't get what you want, you have to teach yourself to want what you can get.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like if you, I don't know, it's like a stupid example, but like, let's say that as a kid, you're served the same thing for dinner every single night. I don't know. Like what's something you were served for dinner you never loved?
I'm not a big fan of spaghetti.
All right, let's say you're served spaghetti every single night and you're like, I just hate this spaghetti. You could literally reframe your mind and be like, you know what? Spaghetti's actually awesome. It's just like pizza that's ground up. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
You think about it and teach yourself to love spaghetti, and before you know it, you won't have a spaghetti problem anymore.
Right. Or you're just like, okay, it's fueling my body, so I should be grateful.
You can find gratitude
I'm
in the
grateful
spaghetti.
that I actually have
nutritious
food on my
or whatever.
table, you know? Like
Yeah,
I'm
you can do
able
any
to
number of
eat.
things like that. And I think that
Yeah.
people who are stuck like that, that's what you're going to have to do. There's no real way around that. I would still encourage you to explore reality, explore your options, especially if you feel like you're in danger and this could affect your mental health and by proxy, your children's mental health. Because let's be real, a lot of people go to very, very dark places when they've been in these environments for too long. Mm-hmm. We've talked about how much that can affect people. And our course is about how the environment affects you.
Yeah.
How it's very difficult to heal in the same environment that got you sick. Mm-hmm. You know, like if there's mold in your home, they have to tear down the walls and rebuild it. Then you can move back in. You're not just going to be able to take medicine and heal yourself from the exposure of mold. Like they have to get rid of the root of the problem.
Right.
And that's going to be true in the worst of situations still, but it's okay if that's not an option today. Like you're okay. Like our show, our content, our course, none of that stuff has ever been contingent on your relationship status. Totally irrelevant to us.
Yep.
If you want to stay together, great. That's awesome. We did. If you don't, great. That's awesome. That works for you. That's amazing. Whatever you think empowerment means for you, that's great. Right. And it can mean different things at different times. Maybe that evolves over time. Stay open, stay curious to it. We'll see where it takes you. My guess is that if you'll know in your heart when you've had enough. That's my guess.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily knowing in your heart when you've had enough. It's really when you've had enough of your own bullshit, when you've had enough of the way that you respond to things, when you've had enough of the way that you, when you recognize that you are no longer the person that you want to be, or the person that you feel like you really are.
When you're living in confluence with
when
your values.
you are just going against your values completely is when you really realize, all right, enough is enough and I've got to do something about this.
Yeah. I think that all in all, the blame that we put on outside circumstances that affect us is justified and it's valid.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not saying that it's not, but it doesn't mean that you don't have the power to act and change and do something, right? Healing starts the minute that you say, I have to do something within.
Yeah.
I can
I
still
have to
change.
do something about
I
that.
have to change.
Right.
That's when healing. It's when we take responsibility, essentially.
Right. So since we were on this topic, you want to talk a little bit about Independently Strong? Real quick?
Yeah. Independently Strong is a course essentially designed to get you to a place where you really are ready to make decisions. What the course does is it helps you regain your agency and it empowers you. One of the most common things that we hear when people find our show and we get messages, it's, I don't even know who I am anymore. I just feel so lost. Like I used to be this confident person. I had an idea of who I was and what I stood for, and I'm just not that person. I don't know where he or she went, and I'm scared. That's what we help people do. We look at it through the lens of addiction, but it's not a course about how to deal with someone in addiction per se. There's like one module that deals with addiction. Outside of that,
I mean, we discuss it a lot throughout, but
outside of that, we're going to talk about, we will do like an audit of the relationship itself. So you can see it for what it really is, not the narratives that we often tell ourselves, right? Kind of talking about the rose-colored glasses of acceptance. Sometimes we can do that and it can be harmful. So we're going to get through that. We're going to talk about what your values actually are. And once we figure out what those are, well, how do we set boundaries that protect those values? We're going to do that. We're going to talk about how to rebuild a healthy version of ourselves, what self-care actually looks like, how to advocate for yourself, cover addiction briefly. And then, we give you tools for life.
Yeah.
We help you regain agency. That's what we really do.
Yeah. People are utilizing the program in different areas of their lives. Like they're within their jobs, within their relationships with their family members, within the shit that we're talking about today, like the mental health issues that people are going on. The program actually helps you get through that and how to shift your perspective a little bit and become more content and live the life that you really want.
Yeah. This was kind of our own process that we developed, and then we built it with a clinical architect, Dr. Christopher Taylor, licensed therapist, that signed off and put his own spin on some of this stuff. So it's robust, it's thorough, it's 10 modules long, takes a little while to complete, but we believe in it. We believe in the process and its applicability to all facets of your life, not just the one about your relationship where you're dealing with someone who's struggling with addiction. I think oftentimes what addiction in a relationship and dysfunction does is it does give you this feeling that you've lost who you are and you're just sort of settling, and you want to find that person who had fire again and establish a life of their own choosing. And now this can be done with or without somebody, your partner. It's not a course designed to help you leave someone. It's not a course designed to help you just stick around no matter what. You get to make those decisions based on your values and the way that you feel at the end of it, from a place of strength, not fear, from a place of surety, not uncertainty. And that's what the course helps you do. You can get 75% off of it if you're interested. Go to our website, twfo.com. While you're there, check out some merch. We got Recovery Rocks. We got a free blog. Newsletter. Yeah. Enter the code Wheelies75 at checkout on the course. Either go to independentlystrong.com or twfo.com, tufo.com. Enter in Wheelies75, get 75% off that course.
It's a program now.
Yeah. Program. Sorry. It is a program. It's not really a course. Say course. It makes it sound like it's college class or something.
We're making some shifts.
Yeah. It's a program. It's a program. It's a process.
Okay. I want to talk about, so what helps you, and I'll talk about it as well for myself, is what helps you stay centered whenever shit hits the fan outside of our home, like things that are out of your control or that may be in your control. I know you talked a little bit about acceptance, but what are some other things that you do?
I talked about the acceptance piece, and that's kind of the first thing. It's like focusing on what is, not what should be, is oftentimes it's focusing on reality and accepting reality. That for me was, this sounds stupid, but that was like revolutionary for me.
No, I think that's amazing.
My greatest gift in the world before recovery was pointing out what was wrong with the world. I was good at it. And it's like I could just point out everything that was stupid or ironic or dumb or needed to
should be this way or shouldn't be that way.
And if they just did it this way, everything would be fine. And I developed this mindset where it was just, everything was just negative all the time and everything was just incorrect and wrong. And the result of that was
so much energy.
It does. It takes up your whole entire day, and it sort of infects you bit by bit, and it starts to change who you really are. And it made me just a really negative person. Looking at reality and what is, and saying, okay, well, this is what is. What can I do with it? Not what can I necessarily do about it? Like, how can I fix this or influence it or change it? It was just like, what can I fix? How can I work within this? How can I change myself to work within this?
Or what is in my control and what's not in my control?
That was like a big one too.
And
like
that's
focusing on
huge
like
thing.
what I can control and what I can't. And so much is outside of my control, which is actually kind of relieving.
It is.
Because there's so many things that I have no
so.
business trying to mess with.
Exactly. Because you're going to try the rest of your life, like trying to force something that's probably not even going to go the way that you want it to go. So it's better to just like surrender.
And then from that, we've talked about spirituality, but it's been a really long time.
We talk about it occasionally. It's brought up sometimes.
My spiritual life is probably it's the most important thing to me. It's what keeps me grounded. It's what keeps me sane. It's what keeps me calm and peaceful. It's what keeps me moving forward. And it is this idea that rooted in reality is God's will. It is the way, if I ever had to wonder what God's will actually was, it's what's right in front of me. Yeah. It's what the world is right now. And then I have decisions every single day that I can make to work with that or work against it, in which case I can just be angry. But whether it's a faith-based scripture journey for you, if that's through organized religion or if it's your own personal experience with it, go for it. It was described to me like this. This was something that this dude came in and said, because when I was first getting sober, I was an atheist and I was like totally against these ideas. But then I started seeing people who were happy, and every single one of them had this thing in common where they had some kind of spiritual idea, whatever that might be, right? And I couldn't deny the fact that people who had that were happy. Studies have been done, self-reported studies show that people are happier when they have something in their lives. This guy was like, I told him, I was like, I just don't know if I could do the religion thing. And he was like, well, religion and spirituality are different. Religion's for people who are afraid to go to hell, and spirituality for people who have already been there. And they kind of described to me that it kind of looks like whatever you want it to. And I was just like, wait, you can do that? That's an option? Like, I thought that was just off the table. It's like, no, that's not how it works. Get to know God however you want to know God. So I've done that in a variety of ways, and it involves, traditional religious scripture with my own ideas and some other things I found, like Taoism and Stoicism and philosophy and whatnot. And I have found a way that I can spiritually ground myself every single day to be happy. I would encourage anyone to just explore what that might look like for you. That's it. Not saying you need to go down any one path or the other, just what that could look like for you. Because what I have found in it is peace when there is no peace. I have found the ability to accept things that are outside my control. Yep. I have found the ability to find gratitude in things, which is a huge one. This is like the next bullet point here is gratitude. Yeah. Gratitude can be, it can be a bad thing. I think
people use it as like denial or avoidance or whatnot.
You can bastardize the idea of gratitude. I think for some people, what gratitude is sort of like toxic positivity. Yeah. Whereas when someone's going through something really difficult, they're just told to be grateful for the things they do have, and they're completely invalidated with what they're feeling. Yeah. And that's not what gratitude means, I guess, to me. No. Gratitude it's practical fuel for me. Like, I think it's not denying pain. It's an anchor to what's still good so that the pain doesn't swallow me whole. So the pain is still real, but it's not going to swallow me whole because I still have plenty of things that I can find gratitude in. Most of the time, my problems come from pretty, in the grand scheme of things, meaningless shit. It's fear of finances, like what's going to happen next. Like the economy's falling apart. What happens to us? What happens to our home? And all the stuff. And then you're always there too to remind me, like, I would live under a bridge with you. We will figure it out. Yeah, exactly. We'll live in a trailer if we have to. Like, we will figure it out, dude. Like, what are you worried about? Like, we have each other, we have our lives, we have our health, like we have enough to get by. And I'm like, shit, you're right. Like, I'm tripping over all this ridiculous stuff. That is how I experience gratitude. Yeah. In moments where those things fall apart, you can always fall back on your health. When your health falls apart, you can always fall back on the here and now, right here, I have this moment. And for that, I can be grateful. There are layers to it, and you can always find a way to be grateful. It's not denial. It's a lifeline at times. And I think it can be used that way. Yeah. It's not a way to gaslight yourself out of real problems. It's not to say that, how dare you argue about that? At least you have a husband or a wife. Like, how dare you complain about, your problems when there are people in the world who are starving? Like, that's not fair. Okay. Yeah. That's not right. Don't do that. Right. It's not what it's about. It's about within your own life, finding the anchor, the things that you can truly be grateful for. And sometimes this is just the fact that you got up today. Yeah. That you can breathe in and feel that cool air rush across your throat and down into your lungs and fill your chest and say, I'm alive today. Yeah. And we can all be grateful for that. Right. On days when all falls apart, sometimes that's what I have to go down to. It kind of works in layers, Right. Absolutely. So that could be really helpful. I think the next one for me that was really, really revolutionary was, I am responsible for the effort. I'm not responsible for the outcome.
That's powerful.
That was a huge one for me, is I was always trying to control outcomes. I, in so many ways, was doing things to get a certain result, right? I was talking to you like X so that you would sleep with me. I was showing up to work this way because I expected a bonus or expected a promotion. And I was so hell-bent on influencing getting what I wanted at the end. And I was so tied up in that when that thing didn't happen, my world would fall apart. If you didn't get the bonus, if you said, I'm tired, I have a headache, whatever you say, it's like, no, look over and you're snoring. I'm like, damn it. Then I'm all wrapped around the axle for no reason. Listen, none of that stuff's out of my control. It's completely out of my control. The sex thing aside, that's kind of a stupid point, but like when it comes to like getting a bonus at work or any number of outcomes, I'm only responsible for the effort. That's it. And I take a lot of peace in that. Right. Like, I can just put forth the best effort that I can. I'm only in control of the effort that I put forth. Even if I do everything perfect, I'm not guaranteed a result. And I'm completely at peace with that.
As long as you're living by your values, that's what's important. It's like when people start to change the way they are just to influence their partner to make better decisions so that they, stop drinking or whatnot, you're not doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it for somebody else. You're doing it for an outcome that you don't even know is going to happen. So instead, why don't you just do it for yourself? Do something that you can be proud of, live by your values and be proud of that instead of doing whatever you think is going to make them do what you want them to do.
Yeah. You're still looking at the outcome.
Yeah, you're looking at the outcome. You're not looking at your within and what you want for yourself.
At the end of the day, it's how I feel about me, and can I go to bed with myself every night?
Right.
That's what it became about.
Yeah.
It's about
which is powerful because those are the things that you can control. Is you can control the effort, not the outcome.
I let go of outcomes. And what I found was when I stopped worrying about outcomes and I just focused on the effort, my outcomes actually got substantially better.
So that's how I looked at wow. I am kind of like,
my
what?
My phone's on Do Not Disturb and it still rang because that person's in my favorites.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. Anyway. Just usually you're like, oh my God, the dog's going to bark. It's going to be a big deal. The kids are going to be loud. I'm like,
it's going to be okay.
Come on. This is real life. This is what we do. Anyway. So that's kind of how I looked at like my weight loss journey or whatever, my physical journey. It wasn't looking at the outcome. It was more of looking at the effort and what I was doing every day to make myself feel better. Like I know a lot of people say, look at the goals, do what you need to do to, get to your goal and make that outcome. But it's like, no, if I focus on that, I'm going to become way too discouraged. So it's better for me to just take it one day at a time and do the best that I can on that day. And then eventually the outcome is way better than what I expected.
Yeah, that's been my experience with it too. And there have been things that professionally anyway, that haven't gone that way. I've put forth the effort every day and things didn't go my way. That doesn't mean I quit though. I just keep showing up because those are my values. I'm living by my values. And if they agree with my values and like if I'm living a life that's true to me and authentic, then I don't have to worry so much about the outcomes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm not praying and hoping on this thing to happen that's going to make me whole or happy. Mm-mm. I can be happy no matter what happens.
Right.
It's not about outcomes. It becomes about like inner resilience. Mm-hmm. And that's the gift for me now. It's about loving the work that you do.
Yeah. And
that's the work of the effort. I love the work. Right. I love putting forth the effort. And most of the time when you're putting forth the effort and you're doing it the right way, working hard, you're going to get what you want. Well, usually, but don't do it for that reason.
Yeah, but since we're on the topic, I know you're trying to go onto this, but you've already talked about that.
I'm not. I was just looking at like Stoic principles. I was going to say, if you've never read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, it's a really good one.
Okay. I wanted to discuss really quickly, since we kind of talked about the don't focus on the outcome, just the experience. I kind of wanted to talk about physical activity real quick, and how important that is for your mental health, not just your physical health. Yeah. Because we are talking about mental health right now. And I feel like society has normalized not being active because it's uncomfortable or something. I don't know why it's been so normalized to not be active, but I do think that is a big part as to why a lot of people are struggling as well. I don't think it's just all the external factors. I think that the physical part and the physical activities that we should be doing plays a huge role in how we handle things in life.
It does. I mean, you look at just from a chemical standpoint, oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, these things are released whenever you're exercising in the short period of time after exercise that stabilize your mood, that make you feel good. They will chemically change the way you feel. Mm-hmm. And they come from physical exertion. They come from physical activity. They can even come from meditation, but it comes from self-care. Yes. Is what it comes from.
Right.
But there's a lot of us that feel we can convince ourselves we don't have time for it because we feel overwhelmed. And when you feel overwhelmed, your world just gets so much smaller and you can't find an option or an idea. Like you can't find any avenue for which you can make time for physical fitness. Okay. But it's huge. It's absolutely huge. Like it actually does change the way you feel. It makes life feel so much more in control, regardless of what's going on.
I will say for me personally, I learned more about my physical health journey than I did with any of my my therapy or my meditations or my journaling or my, mental and emotional and spiritual part. The physical part for me was probably one of the most important things that I had to go through.
Yeah, you're putting some things to the test, right? Because you had a lot of anxiety around a lot of things. And anytime that you would start to feel weird, like a heart flutter or anxiety attack, when you would have some weird numbness or any of those physical symptoms that come from extreme anxiety, your mind goes to, I'm dying.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, exercise, sometimes you will feel the same exact way.
Right.
And if you continue to push yourself, what you'll find is that you are so much stronger than you think.
So it's a mental thing too, though. And a lot of
Yes.
people don't recognize this, is that you have to actually tell yourself that I'm supposed to be feeling this way. My heart rate is supposed to be up like this. I am supposed to be sweating. I'm supposed to feel a little bit lightheaded. I'm supposed to feel sore or whatnot. But in a panic attack or anxiety attack, you're kind of in that fight or flight mode, and your body literally thinks that you're running from like a bear or something, and you're supposed to push yourself.
Nervous system's just
your nervous system, but
going
you're
nuts.
supposed to be physical in those parts so that your body knows that you're safe, because then you start breathing more and your body will tell yourself that you're breathing. But it's all mental, and you're telling yourself, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. And you're eventually your brain is training your body, and your body's training your brain during exercises that you're fine and everything's okay, and it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But a lot of people are afraid to go down that path because they don't want to feel uncomfortable. They don't want to feel like, oh, this is, working out sucks. It's not fun. It's like, but eventually, like, it's a necessity. It's something that we really need to do for our mental health. Like you said, for the chemicals and science. And like, that's one reason for it. But it helped me become way more resilient than any type of book or whatever could have told me.
It develops resilience, and it develops self-confidence and self-pride. Whenever you finish something that's really difficult that you never thought you could do, you realize that you're so much stronger than you ever dreamed you were.
Yeah.
And that translates not just to, I can do 50 push-ups. It's to, man, I can get through this difficult day at the office. I can get through this crazy schedule up this week with all this kids activities where I've got to be in 2 places at once. Like it just lets you know, it reminds you, like, I'm fucking tough.
Yeah.
I can do hard shit.
I can do shit. It's same with like the food that goes into your body. Okay. These are things that we can control. We can absolutely control this. And that is something that is so powerful, and it can be so meaningful for you, because you're like, I know people will make excuses on why they do things like eating.
I get it.
Like we do it too. We all stress eat. It's
Totally
a thing. But whenever you can tell yourself, you know what, this is something that I can actually control, it's pretty much an empowering process. But what we do put in our body is really important.
I don't have any of it in front of me now, but I know I've read over time various different studies about how certain dyes and chemicals in food influence the way that we actually feel.
Yes.
It can influence our mental health,
Right.
hormone levels, all
Sugar.
kinds of stuff. Yeah, the way that sugar affects us. And it will actually change the way that you think and feel.
Yes.
Like what you put in your body matters greatly.
Right.
And that's 100% in our control. It is in our control.
Yeah.
I know, like, dude, you're preaching to the choir here.
And
I love junk food, and I love to eat
same,
sugar.
me too. Like,
don't get me wrong.
But don't come at me and tell me that health food is expensive, because
I know it is.
Guys, I lived off of canned chicken, canned green beans, and carrots for a while, or canned peanut butter or whatnot. Or you can, like, our grocery bills, I think, actually got a lot cheaper when we started eating way healthier, because I'm just getting foods that are whole foods. Like, it's not a bunch of snacks, or, well, with the kids, we get them some snacks, but it's not as much as it would have been if it was just, us eating whatever the hell we really wanted to eat.
I've eaten more canned chicken in the last 2 years than I think any human alive.
I don't know if you can eat canned chicken anymore. You kind of,
I can still do it.
You kind of burned yourself out.
There for a while, I did. I got to the point where I was gagging when I was taking bites. I couldn't even control it. It's just, I just need to change it up.
And if you're on the run or something and you're like, oh, I'm running errands or whatnot, guys, I will stop at a grocery store and I will grab a rotisserie chicken, a package of cucumbers, and a package of nuts or something like that. Or maybe an avocado or something.
Or fruit or something.
And I keep salt and pepper in my car. I keep some forks in my car or whatever. Like, it's not as challenging as we make it out to be. Another go-to for me is hard-boiled eggs and carrots. Like, that's everything that I need within a meal. And what it does, and going back to the mental health, is like, it's not just about the stuff that's going into our body. It's also about building that discipline of like, I can do this. Like, this is what I'm supposed to, this is what I'm meant to be doing. This is what I'm meant to be eating. This is what, it helps me just build myself up to make better decisions in all areas of my life, because you know how it makes you feel in the end, in the long run.
Yeah, you're confronting the side of you that you know has needed work for quite some time.
Yes.
And when you do it, you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
You're going to feel better. And this is the same when it comes to reading a book that you know is going to deliver some really hard truths, but you're going to get through it anyway. And maybe that's what self-care looks like for you in that moment, or working through a program of some kind, whatever it is, or working with a therapist if that's an option. You're going to confront some things and you're going to feel more empowered because of it. And empowerment is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing when you start to understand that you are so much stronger than you ever dreamed, and that you have a lot more effect on the world than you actually thought you did. And it's not so much that you're going to change the world, but you're going to change the way that you exist in it, and the way that you perceive it, and the way you experience it. And in turn, it will feel like you have changed the world. It will feel lighter. It will feel more in control. It will feel less helpless. I can promise you that. It won't feel like you're just at the whim of the wind that day, and however things decide to roll, you'll have to, suffer because of it. No, you have agency. And little things like this, like exactly what you're talking about, remind us of how that works within our lives through these little small actions sometimes.
Yeah. And they're not as small as you would think. Like, it really does add up over time. I was going to say that recently I've been really thinking to myself of live like you're dying, and that's not, I know a lot of people might say
We are.
Yeah, I mean, we are dying, but like, I'm not saying YOLO. I'm not saying, go get those adrenaline rushes, or, eat the cake, or I'm talking about doing the things that are really hard, and the things that are uncomfortable, and living through things that, might build up my resilience or whatever. It's not the other things. It's like, live like you were dying. Just live the best way that you can live for yourself. Yeah. Yeah. And not base it on external factors and things that are going on around you. I liked this thing that we had put on our outline about being, about radical rebellion, of like choosing to go against the grain and go against society and go against what other people tell you to do, just so you're living by your values. It's a powerful thing. Live like you're dying.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like this radical, what do you call it? Radical
rebellion.
I was thinking like, it's almost like this dichotomy of these two different types of Instagram or TikTok accounts that exist. Like, on one hand, you have the annoying, like, people that are like, go get it, seize the day type people. And those get on my nerves. And then you've also got the other side of that that's like,
be gentle.
Fuck it. Like, let's just eat all the junk food. What's it matter anyway type people. I think that, I don't know. It's really tough. I'm listening to this message and I'm thinking people are probably like, yeah, whatever.
What do you mean?
And I get it. And I totally get that. Because there are some days where it is called for that you just say, F it.
There are days
it's not an all out sprint to growth.
I'm not saying to do this all the time, but consistency and doing it the majority of the time.
More often than not.
And also knowing when to rest doesn't mean that every time you feel like resting, you need to rest. We could fucking do that every day if we want, if you're being real.
Yeah.
But we still have to adult, and we still have to suck it up, and we still have to do things we don't want to do. But there are times of rest. I give myself one day a week to like really rest and take my brain away from things and enjoy my time and eat some junk that I've been missing out on. Like,
there will be times whenever you get really stressed where it might be 3 days that week.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Balance is key, but balance always on the side of we're moving forward.
Absolutely. Because you were very big into the hustle culture.
Yeah.
In a way.
I struggle with this. This is where it comes from.
I know. This is where we're unpacking.
I struggle with, like, especially in recovery, it's like if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. And in some ways, I can see an argument for both sides of it, but I tend to fall toward, I think that's more true than not, that you should be moving forward as opposed to moving backwards, because backwards for me means getting into my old habits, and my old habits got me into the biggest trouble I've ever been in my entire life.
Right.
So moving forward is a good thing. But then sometimes you can forget how far you've come and how like rest today looks much different than it did a decade ago or even a month ago or 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, like hustle culture can be a really toxic thing. That's
Yes,
what I
it
was talking
can.
about. You have two different types of influencers that are out there.
I know.
I don't follow hustle people
And that
at all.
you don't?
Nope.
I'm surprised because that's your mentality.
I think
feel
the only
because
dude that I
you-
follow who's like hustle dude is probably Goggins, because I read his book and I think it's great.
I love Goggins. I know he's extra. but I still
Hormozy's
love him.
probably close second to that, but outside of that, I don't follow any like hustle type people.
Yeah, I guess because a lot of the times too, it seems
I'm
like a
not-
lot of the hustle people don't have little children.
No,
Or they're not.
they don't have like shit in their lives
They
that
don't
everyone
have
else does.
right, and they don't have like these types of relationships. They don't have they don't have
It's-
like they have problems. I'm not going to dismiss that, but they don't have the same like these really deep problems.
Yeah,
where
you ever
it's
seen
like,
some people post shit and it's like, tell me you don't have kids without
without telling me you don't have kids?
kids?
Yeah. I'm like, I can't fully take you seriously because it's completely different when you have other people that you're responsible for. But I will say with you, we're just going to unpack this real quick because
Fun.
you've been, we can do it both ways. Like you have been a very hustle. I've always thought of you as being like a tough love hustler. I'm going to push until I burn out type of person, or you're just going to keep going and you don't burn out. But I do have to recognize that since you've become more of like an equal partner and you're around taking responsibility, like more around the house or with the kids or within your life, you're learning the importance of, okay, you can't just hustle all the time. Like there are days that you have to rest and you have to chill. Like it's about that balance, or you are going to completely burn out and lose your shit.
Yeah, and I have.
Do you reckon? Oh, you've burnt out? Is that what
Yes,
you're saying?
absolutely.
Okay. I mean, do you understand what I'm
100%. Yeah,
what I'm coming at?
You're 100% correct.
And is that, I mean, so that's a true like observation.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like with a lot of these hustle influencers, it's like, I wonder, it's like, do you do the dishes? Probably not. Like,
Well, and I also think
were
that,
you at the
like,
PTO meeting last night?
and I
There's
know that
no way.
a lot of women and a lot of moms do struggle with taking care of themselves because they're taking care of everything else. And if you're in this type of situation,
You're doing everything.
You're doing everything. So you like taking the time to go work out and focus on that. I get it. It's hard. Like I didn't start focusing on that shit until my kids were older and I had more time to do it for myself. And when you're the only one doing it, like, or doing stuff around the house or with your kids, like it's really challenging to put yourself first. And I am not going to sit here and say that it's not. I know that it is, but there are certain things that you can control that will help you build yourself up. I'm not saying like go hard and go heavy and make all these major drastic changes, but there are things that you can do.
I think just about every mom is getting about half an hour to an hour between the times you put the kids down and you go to sleep to kind of do what you want. And it's really easy to pick up your phone in those moments.
Or binge watch a show.
Right. I would encourage you to try to read something if you can. It helps you fall asleep. And you're going to feel better about the stuff that you're learned. There's something about reading a book that's like, I read today.
Yeah.
That feels good.
Right.
It's like you get to put this little tack on the wall, like a little star on the wall. It's like, I read. I did something, you know?
Yeah.
Did something difficult, something to challenge myself. But there will be a day too where it's totally just scroll, go for it.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like with you, whenever you were newly in sobriety, we had little kids, and Matt worked on his your physique way before I did because you had the time to do it. I guess like you were able to do it. But with me being like the mom to our little kids, I didn't have that luxury.
No, man, you're lucky to
do
get
that.
You're lucky to get 30 minutes maybe get a workout in the living room in front of the TV.
And even then, you're going to get
If
interrupted.
that.
Because
you're
there's a
interrupted
child
with the
that's gonna
kid
scream.
needs something, or they're just doing what kids do.
Right. So I know that a lot of people, they might follow like some fitness people and be like, oh, that's just not realistic for my life. And I get that. I totally understand.
You're
that.
right.
You're right. And I mean, like, it's not 100% realistic within our lives either, but we're doing the best that we can and staying consistent with what we have and what we can do right now.
Yeah. And all this stuff that we're talking about can actually change the way you feel. I think that it still goes back to the acceptance of it all, the acceptance that this is the way that things are.
Yep.
And then our expectations based off of that. That's where it really starts. I truly believe this. I don't expect to wake up tomorrow and see some headline that's going to drastically change things for the better. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But I think in the back of my mind, there's some days I expect that. I expect that. Like we live in an area very rural, and there's we live on around farm roads, and there's neighborhoods popping up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
My commute is 7 miles to the office.
No, it's
or 9 miles maybe. It's let's just say it's 10. Okay.
Okay, let's do that.
10 miles, right?
It's not far.
Since we're splitting hairs here, Miss Robinson. So let's say it's 10 miles. All right.
That's how I
It
roll.
used to take me 12 to 15 minutes to get to the office. There's some days it takes me 45 minutes to an hour now.
Yes.
For a 10-mile commute, because they're building houses everywhere up here, and these little roads aren't meant for it.
Nope.
And I can get pissed about that and be like, God damn it. All these
why do they have to
fucking
do
people
this?
moving
Why
here.
are they doing? Why are they building all these houses?
And why are they issuing all these permits?
So you can sit there and you can question the why all day long too, which is what we've talked about. You don't really need to know the why. It's how are you going to deal with this?
And so I think about it okay, all right, let's talk about it. 2-year-old tantrum thrower Matt, what would actually make you feel better? You wake up in the morning, there's some headline that they've stopped issuing all permits, or that they've kicked out anyone.
Well, they did that.
They haven't done shit about it, but if
they did that.
If they made everyone who hasn't lived here more than 5 years move away, what? How stupid is this? Okay, so what are my actual options? Accept the fact that change is inevitable, and things
either move.
Things will change. We either move or I adjust my schedule accedingly.
Yeah.
Which means getting up earlier, leaving earlier. It means
That was such
all
a
these
good
things.
example.
And this is the stuff this is what I mean. Reality is reality. It's not going to change.
Yep.
These people are not going to disappear. I'm sure they're all lovely. I haven't met them yet, but I'm sure they're great people. Welcome, by the way, if you're listening. Welcome to the area. I don't mean to be a dick about it, but there's nothing we can do about it. I have to change something within me. I have to change something. Something has to change.
Looking
within
at
me.
what's in your control.
Right. And what's in my control is the schedule that I choose to keep. It's the way that I budget my time. It's the way that I treat other people. It's my acceptance and level of acceptance. When my expectations exceed my level of acceptance, I have a really bad day. When my expectations meet, or my level of acceptance, or my acceptance is greater than my expectations, I am serene. I have great days. I'm optimistic. I'm fun to be around. I'm happy. Even in the midst of a storm, I'm happy. Mm-hmm. It's about it really is about the expectations of it all. So we can sit here and say none of this is fair, and you'd be right.
Yeah.
But what are we going to do about it?
What we're going to do about it? Yeah. Let's say that you become outraged every time you listen to the news or you watch the news and you see these headlines or whatnot. What can you do about that? You can't change the news and what's happening out there.
The news is going to do what the news does.
And also, let's be real about the news. Half of it is even accurate. It's just they're trying to shift your perspective. It's not. Don't take everything in that you read and look at it as truth.
With few exceptions, don't forget that the news is a product. And their goal is to keep you on their network, their website,
exactly. They're trying to get you to
and that goes both ways. They will rage you
shit.
into sticking around and commenting and all that
exactly.
stuff.
And if
they get paid for that.
Yep, they do. So they don't care what kind
We're also not designed to take on world issues.
No, we're not.
We were designed to live in
a community and take problems within our communities.
And within that community, you wouldn't have these crazy, horrific things that you're exposed to every single day.
Right. So remove yourself from it, because that's what you have control over. Same with social media. If it's too much, remove yourself.
Yeah, I struggle at times with my desire to be informed, and then my desire to be peaceful and serene. Mm-hmm. And sometimes what I do sacrifice is my desire to be informed. I'm I can't.
Oh, I am
can't do it right now.
When it comes to shit like that, I am an ignorance is bliss type of person, to be honest. I do think it's important to know about certain events and current events, but also I'm better off with just going with the flow of things. I think that's just my mentality, and how it helps with my anxiety, and it helps with a whole bunch of stuff, with just going into my spirituality with that too. Is you know what? I just accepting what is and not digging into it too much, because I know what it can do to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it's a tough balance to strike sometimes, but we always do have an option. If you had 10 times the agency, what would you do about this problem right now?
Yep.
There's always an option. All right. I hope this was helpful in some way. I hope that people gain something from this, maybe some sense of hope that it's not as lost as it feels, that at the end of the day, even if you're in a very difficult situation that feels like it has no end, that you can find some light at the end of that tunnel to discover a way that you can progress, that you can move forward.
Yep.
Even if you feel like you can't. Whether it's a matter of reframing your expectations about the world, whether if it could be adopting this radical acceptance mindset. It could be a spiritual journey of some kind that you find peace in. It could be broadening your sense of community and the people that you interact with and the company that you keep. It could be the way that you're moving your body or what you're putting in your body. We do have options, okay? We're not saying that your problems are invalid by any means. All we're going to do is rib you a little bit and suggest that you look a little harder about what you can change if it feels like you can't change anything at all.
Yeah.
So I hope that's helpful. Until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.